So, a couple Saturdays ago, I went on an urban photo safari and to a convention. Emotionally, so many ups and downs, but ultimately with the most claustrophobic feel I can remember from any convention before. And I've attended cons held in a single hotel. There's a lot of security on the ground floor of the new Summit building, but that's been there since it opened a few years ago and began hosting these events. But this year it was so much harder to get into even the older Arch building. When I got overcrowded by people repeatedly, the loud hustle and bustle had me thinking I'd leave early. I left well after dark, but without any freeway park activity, this is definitely something I need to experience with someone else, start to finish in the future. But as for this year, I had plans for Saturday and Sunday, but a lot of things went sideways and strange for me those 2 days. So while I had a satisfying Saturday, Sunday was just on its head. Thursday was me showing up for tickets after work, wandering around the city after dark, ticket in hand. I felt very warm emotionally, very safe passing this little place amidst my wandering. I had this negative nostalgia. Downtown, I love you. Felt the old stuff again. Makes it all so ironic that anyone would try to invoke gang activity to manipulate me, but more on that later. I saw an interior quick stop by the check-in area that I didn't recognize, but it was in the older Arch building, so I didn't get to see whether it was open or what fare it had. Almost all eateries with the convention center are in the building this con just wasn't using. I couldn't help but think that the connection the Arch building has with Act Theater would have made for a nice date night in years past. Show up for pre-reg, and in exchange for attending the convention and/or conference, this itinerary. Come in through monorail or light rail, get your ticket, find a nice dinner, catch a show and then some Z's, then beginning your event with the rise of another day. Discussing D's dogs, I picked their veggie option because I do not feel safe with poultry or processed meats with the new cabinet appointments. So expect me to explore a lot more vegan options moving forward. As for this vegan option, the heat factor pushes the limit with minimal jalapeno, which is not a surprise given all the hot sauce and onion I put on. But I could still feel and taste the tube. But it was so subtle that not many flavor words come to mind. Not now, not then. Were there only two of these dogs, or were there more? I seem to recall different options in those years gone by. Also worth mentioning, the other hot dog establishments. They both have what they call a Seattle dog. Seems like street fare ideal for tourists. I'll have to try these later. They're both stationary, while D's moves about, seeking events in the area. It used to be one hot dog cart just down Pike Street. Now it was so close to the entrance of one convention entrance or another. I felt this was the most claustrophobic convention I could remember at the time. I wanted to not come back, and even as I saw someone I actually recognized, I had to hurry off. The only thing that calmed me down enough to find my center
going into the arcade they'd thrown together. Walking in, I saw something that couldn't be properly reconstructed for the home console market. A machine to be slapped in many directions with the caramel dancing girls showing in the screen. Last I saw them, they were instructing COVID safety. Someone tell me what this was. I was in no condition to stand around waiting. I'll be looking around for whatever that was later. I got to see The Simpsons arcade again and so many emotional responses. I pointed out the references, cameos of Simpsons creator Matt Groening's Life in Hell comic. Both times I played, all four slots were used, and various team up attacks that none of us playing could ever figure out. And I formed groups to complete this thing twice that day. It wasn't just nostalgia, remembering running to still running games that were abandoned, all because I never had quarters of my own back in those days. I'd forgotten to the mini game where the family is slapped awake by the player, seizing on the interactivity of the arcade medium, a directness of reaching in and actively helping them reach their goals. I definitely never got around to the ending on my own. After all those robots and bowling ball bosses, it felt so subdued. They've rescued their baby, and with the whole family again, they're just walking home. The ability of a cabinet to tell a story is greatly underrated, in my opinion. I developed a main group in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Shumagorath, then Venom, then Amingo the Living Cactus in the back for support. Even when I lost, I showcased thing after thing about the value of 2D sprite gameplay. These weren't the sorts of things I'd have entrusted 3D gameplay to. Between Marvel vs. Capcom and Darkstalkers, Capcom really was the go-to place for the creative freedom of sprites, while I was trading guidance and advice on how the controls and the gameplay were laid out for how Marvel vs. Capcom could fit into Marvel Comics. I saw something in all Japanese that looked so familiar, but I didn't recognize. Was this a popular template for character design and nothing else? Or something as specific as I thought it was? Does anyone else recognize? I still don't know. What are the character names and what is this series? And finally, way too much time in Gundam Next Plus. I think. I couldn't read the writing. It looked like Next Plus from Gaijin Goomba's list of top 10 Japan-only video games. I was insistent on keeping one of the settings consistent. Green Boost, was it? There was also the Taiko drumming game from that list, but I didn't play that this time. Between the various losses on each device, I might have saved money buying a one-day ticket instead of pay to play in an actual arcade.
My big disappointment this weekend was how many people got their understanding and inspiration from movies. Not even cartoons and movies. It left me genuinely nostalgic for motion comics of all things, especially considering how Udon Comics did them. A shame they're so hard to find through official channels these days. Disney Plus keeps needing new content. Wouldn't motion comics of novel adaptations, sci-fi and westerns, barbarian fantasy, the X content that 20th Century Fox was too embarrassed to touch, horror or short character piece series within larger franchises provide an efficient way of churning out content on an industrial scale. It would certainly help avoid the 2000s conundrum of writers relying purely on only the faintest notions of the most pivotal lore. And that's it for my Saturday. Pissed off about my Sunday overall, but my dinner money got hustled by some invasive and pushy salesmen. At the time, I wasn't entirely sure what to call what happened, but there wasn't enough in event cash left over for dinner at DeWatt. I've been planning to go there for years. Just going to have to take my mom there at Worldcon. These were hucksters selling CDs in every Tacoma and Seattle Convention Center event I can remember for some time. I picked up some that have been casually discarded on account of YouTube not supplying music anymore and not wanting to run afoul of copyright. I thought I'd been clever to ask them if their policy was to allow use of their music online. But they got way too pushy. How do I say no to pushy salesmen? How do I lure them off the sidewalk? How do I signal discreetly to people around me that these are scammers? And what are tells one can pick up on in real time? Oh wait, I know this one. If someone gets up in your face, using teamwork to give you no time to think, appealing only to emotion, that can be a clear sign. If they're collecting for a cause they never name, that's the greatest red flag. Reaching for wallets and credit cards? One more. Bypassing the haggling process? Another red flag. Adding additional charity out of the blue? Man, these were sloppy on Sunday. I also looked at whatever discs had any writing on them. I looked up the Bliss MC printed on one of these discs. The artist I saw didn't seem to have any ties to a school for children, so they might have been pirating all the music too, even on the Marvel artwork ones. But I wouldn't know. I'm still a bit of a metalhead myself. I also remembered after we parted ways that my replacement laptop doesn't even have a CD drive. Whoops! Just remember, if you're overwhelmed by any day that really is just going that badly, find a nice quiet place, which is hard to do in the Summit building. Very unsoundproofed walls there. Even the quiet room was repeatedly loud in short bursts. Maybe the old freeway park where conventioneers used to congregate, or somewhere under it, and try to bring comfort food, puzzles, or something else. What calms you down? Post in the comments. My advice to people traveling to the event? See if public transit adjusts for weekends and how so. Write down those first Sunday connections, even if you don't plan to need them. Besides, the train gives so much opportunity to meet new friends who went where you did. Or just gathering your thoughts, photographing at each stop, or just enjoying the view. Pro tip,
this might be the one time to look at what someone is wearing to make a decision about approaching them. Look for relevant intellectual property to the event or related imagery. And if you're quick on getting to talking, maybe keep in touch long enough for the next con, Sakura Con. No tickets for that, no one to go with this year, but it's always grand people watching, isn't it?
It's a shame we can't get that Harley in.